Hi, mamas. Welcome back to Emotionally Healthy Legacy. My name is Elizabeth, and I am a mom of 4 kids. I have 3 boys and a baby girl. My goal here is to help you reduce stress in your brain so that way you are more patient and calm with your children. I know how hard it is to be patient with your kids, especially when you are running on empty and you're so overwhelmed and stressed out. That's why I really want to teach you ways that you can reduce stress in your brain, reduce stress in your nervous system so that you can be more present and patient with your kids, so then that you can meet their emotional needs and be the mom that you want to be with your children. Hello, my beautiful mamas. Thank you for joining me again for another episode of Emotionally Healthy Legacy. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I want to talk to you about being a good mom and how our child is that a reflection of us being a good mom. Why I want to talk about this, there's just a situation recently that I had a conversation with another mom, and it really brought up all these thoughts for me. What makes a good mom? And if you have a good baby, does that make you a good mom? If you have a good sleeping baby, does that make you a good mom? And here's the thing. This is what I want you to remember or really think about. You are not a bad mom if you have a screaming baby on the plane. You're not a better mom if you happen to have a sleeping baby on the plane. You're not a bad mom if you have a colic baby. You're not a better mom if you happen to have a calm and chill baby without any stomach problems or skin conditions. You're not a bad mom if you have an emotional and sensitive child who easily gets overwhelmed. You're not a better mom if you naturally have a more compliant child. I need you to know that some things happen out of our control. Our baby is born the way they're born. Sometimes you just happen to have a sensitive baby who has tummy issues and who is colic. That does not make you a worse mom. Does not make you a bad mom. It doesn't mean you're not cut out for it. For some reason, we don't know why, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and you just happen to have a baby like that. Also, if you happen to have a good baby, quote unquote, like the one that I have right now, so I've had a colic baby, and right now my 4th one, she's just so sweet. She's so precious. She's been a great baby. She sleeps well most of the time. She's in a good mood most of the time. She doesn't have any skin problems. She doesn't have any breastfeeding problems. She's just a good baby, and she makes the postpartum season much easier for me. There's nothing I did to get her that way. She just happened to be a baby like that. That does not make me a better mom. I'm not above another mom who happened to have a baby who has colic. I need you to remember this. Please do not guilt yourself and beat yourself up that you have happened to have a baby who's more sensitive, who doesn't sleep well, who's screaming on the plane. You obviously are not doing anything on purpose to make your baby scream on the plane. I'm just talking about this because I recently traveled and flew to Florida. That does not make you a bad mom. It does not make you a bad mom that if your baby is teething and in the middle of the night they're just screaming and not sleeping well and they're having a hard time. It does not make you a better mom or above anyone else if you happen to have a good sleeper. If you happen to have a baby that you just give them a pacifier and they go straight to sleep, and you don't have to do anything about it, that does not make you a better mom. You're not above anyone else. And I feel strongly about this just because I recently had a conversation with someone about this. And I didn't say this to her because I did not want to have problems that would be caused. But I need you to remember that some things just happen to us out of our control. Our baby is the way that they are. Yes, there's things that you can do to help your baby. If your baby happens to have tummy issues, yes, there's things that you can do if you're breastfeeding to cut out of your diet. That is in your control. If your baby is just sensitive to things that you eat, that's not in your control. And if we try to control that, and if we beat ourselves up for it, that's not going to lead anywhere positive. Okay? If you happen to have a baby who's not a good sleeper, what is in your control, you can choose to do sleep training. You can do that. You can create structure. You can do things that you can to make things a little bit easier for yourself. You can, turn down the lights. You can turn on the sound machine. You can swaddle them, whatever it might be. If your baby still happens not to sleep well, that's not in your control, and it does not make you a bad mom. Some kids are just that way. We all try our best as moms. I know we do. And let's just not rub into other people that we have a good baby that's a naturally good sleeper. I mean, I've had someone that asked me recently, how's your baby doing? I'm like, I'm grateful. She's doing really well. She's a good sleeper. She is a good eater. She is just happy baby. And there's nothing I did to get her that way. She just happened to be that way. I don't want to take credit for it. She's just that way. And I don't want to rub it into another mom, because I have had a sister-in-law who had a colic baby, and I have an episode with her earlier. Her name is Lily. If you scroll through the earlier episodes, and we talk about things in there that her baby was colic and how much anger that brought up. And anyways, we go deep on that topic. But it does not make her a bad mom that she happened to have a colic baby. It doesn't. If you happen to have an easy baby, be grateful for it. And do not rub it into other moms that you are somehow a better mom, that your baby is calm and sleeps well. You're not. I'm sorry. Probably if you're listening to this, you're probably not that mom. So you probably wouldn't be listening to this. Either way, I just want you to release you of that guilt, of that mindset that somehow you are a worse mom, or you're not cut out for this if you have a baby who is a challenging one. That is BS. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't even say this here, but it's inaccurate. I have happened to have one of my sons is highly sensitive, like me. He gets overwhelmed really quickly. He thinks things really deeply. His emotions are really, really big. When he's excited, they're super big. When he's sad, or he's angry, they're super big. I have a son who's like that. And you know what? My oldest one is very different. And guess what? They're both of my kids. I'm raising them and teaching them similar things, pretty much the same thing. Yet one of them is more sensitive than others. And that does not make me a bad mom if my son comes from school and he's having a hard time and he's melting down. It's not a reflection of me as a parent. Here's the thing. This will come back to a belief that you were raised with. I was raised with a belief, and so were my parents. It comes from what my parents were taught. And I am changing that belief for myself. But the belief is your kids are a reflection of you. Their behavior is a reflection of how good you are as a parent, and how well you can control your child. If you have a child who acts out, that means you are not in control of your child and you're a bad parent. If you have a child who talks back and is disrespectful, that is on you. It is your fault as a parent. You are not doing a good job as a parent. Shame on you. That makes you look bad. You're not being a good Christian. Kind of that sort of mentality and that sort of thought process. If you're a Christian, I want to remind you that God is a perfect parent. And Adam and Eve had their own choices and had their own will, and they made mistakes and they messed up and they did something they shouldn't have. They had a negative behavior. They had a negative choice. Does that mean God was a bad parent? Absolutely not. He was a perfect parent. Same thing for us. We can do everything perfectly. We can teach our kids to do everything we know is correct, we know is right. Yet they're still their own person. They still get to make their own choices. They still have their own feelings, their personality, their own will, and they still may go against what we teach them. and want them to do. Here's the thing. As a parent, your job and my job is to teach them, to educate them, to guide them, to have structure, to be in control of yourself. The Bible says the fruit of the Spirit is self-control, not other control, self-control. We tend to want to do other control. It's our tendency. Me too, 100%. I still have moments like that when I really want to control my child, my husband, and other people. I need to remind myself, and I do in that moment, I may not control other people. I cannot control other people. They have their own will. They have their own desire. So as a parent, for example, how does this work? You are in control of the situation. You're in control of yourself. You're in control of the kind of structure you create for your kids, but you can't control them. For example, you can control what you make for dinner, but you cannot control what your child eats and how much they eat. You can bribe them, technically. You can talk them into it. You can say you can't do this until you eat. I mean, that is, I guess, in your control. You can do that, but you technically can't make them eat. You can't make them swallow it, right? You can't control that. And if you try, you get frustrated, you get angry, right? So it kind of leads to that whole spiral. So what I want you to remember is that if your child is not doing what you want them to do, even though you taught them to do things differently, I teach my kids all the time how to handle conflict, how to ask for help, how to not hit their siblings when they're upset, yet they still do. Does that mean I'm a bad parent? Absolutely not. I do my best. I teach them, I model for them, I guide them, I create structure, I can explain things to them, yet they still make their own choices because they still have their own will. My job is to connect with them, to explain things to them, to practice things with them, to model things for them, to guide them, but I cannot control their choices and their will, what they want, what they feel. I cannot do that. So what I want you to walk away with today, I need you to change your perspective and your mindset, because if you don't, if you stay in this mom guilt, if you beat yourself up that your child is not perfect, he's not like someone else, you have a baby who's colic, you have a baby who's not a good sleeper, that means if you tell yourself, oh, I'm a bad mom, I'm not cut out for this, my dear sweet mama, that is not serving you. It's not. It's going to push you down into a hole of depression or anxiety or just severe mom guilt and hating yourself and thinking you're terrible and you're not cut out for this. It's not serving you. It's going to breed negative emotions. It's not serving you, mama. I want you to remind yourself, I am a good mom. Even if I have a baby who's struggling with tummy issues, I am a good mom. Even if I have a baby who's colic, I am a good mom. Even if I don't have a good sleeper, I am a good mom. Even if I have a screaming baby on the plane, I am a good mom. Even if I have a highly sensitive child who comes back from school and melts down, that's not a reflection of me as a mom. I am a good mom, even if my child does not want to do their chores. I am a good mom, though my child is getting into a conflict or a fight with their sibling. That's not a reflection of you. I am a good mom, even though my child is not doing what I want. Technically, we cannot make anyone do what we want. And you will learn that super quickly. If you have a newborn, you cannot make your child sleep. You cannot make your child eat. You cannot make your child pee on the potty and go on the potty. You can guide them. You can, offer it to them, but you cannot make them do it. And that does not make you a better parent if you have full control over your child. What makes you a good parent if you are in control of yourself, your emotions, and your actions. That is way more powerful. Your mindset, how you handle situations, how you stay in control of yourself is way, way better definition if you are a better parent versus if you are extremely controlling of your child. And if we control our kids in everything, it does not lead to anything positive down the road. It's going to lead kids who are not confident, can't make choices for themselves, can't stand up for themselves because they're so used to having someone control and make all the decisions for them. They will be kids that will become adults who constantly question every choice they make and just cannot make a decision. And it causes other issues. So our kids need to learn that they have their own will, they have their own power, they can make their own choices. But as a parent, you're still in control. As a parent, you are in control what time bedtime is. You cannot force your child to fall asleep. You create structure, you put your kids to bed, but you cannot make them fall asleep, right? So, and if we try to, we get frustrated because things are not going our way. Before you walk away today, I need you to remember this. You're not a bad mom. If you happen to have a baby who's challenging and doesn't sleep well and has tummy issues, you are not a bad mom. If you have a child who's not cooperating and has their own will, that does not make you a bad mom. You are a good mom. You're trying your best. We all are. And any of us are above another one. We're not. We try our best. When we know better, we do better, and that is our responsibility. Beautiful mama, I love you. I care for you. You got this, and you can handle this. Mindset shift and our thoughts is huge. The way we think will affect how we feel, and how we feel will affect how we behave. So, I want you to remember that you're a good mom. And if you happen to have a hard time and a hard baby, it's just the way it is. And that is not a reflection of you as a mom. Hey mama, I would love for you to follow me on Instagram. You can follow me at Emotionally Healthy Legacy. I have a lot of helpful tips for reducing stress and regulating your emotions. Also, I would love to connect with you. Let me know that you're listening. I would love to know who is listening to these podcasts because I do see the numbers and I have no idea who you really are. So reach out to me, connect with me, tell me that you're listening and which things have you found to be helpful. And I would love to connect with you. Have a great day, my dear.